This section is not in our curriculum for 105, but I thought I'd give you a very brief review of it because it has a lot of good stuff in it. So we're working with complex fractions. We're going to multiply by the LCD and using division to simplify. Now, as we look at complex fractions, what are they? Well, they're a fraction in the top, in the numerator, so to speak, and a fraction in the denominator. Now, there's a couple of ways to simplify this, and that's what I'm going to show you. Now, I've rewritten it so we can have some working area. Now, what we want to do is in one swoop, get rid of all our denominators here and here. And we do that by using this technique. Putting a parenthesis, and then we're going to multiply the top and the bottom by the least common denominator. And this one's easy. But what is it? Well, it's AB. So over here I'm going to put an AB, and here I'm going to put an AB. And that's what they've done here. Okay. And again, they had a lot of work there. Okay. Now, here's a case where we're going to use the other method. So notice this is sort of a simple fraction up here and a simple fraction there. And this division bar can be written this way. So this is actually a division of fraction problems that we said we always convert it to multiplication, take the reciprocal of this side, and I saw here I could factor out a 2, which is what I did. So now, as I look at it, I see I can do some cross-canceling from an earlier section. So my answer ends up on top as being 2x over 3. So again, these were sort of in a simple form, and I didn't have to do any combinations up there. And that's what they're doing. Factoring that, and there's your answer. Okay, now what we're going to do is do the first method. Now as we look at this one, here we have like a whole number and a fraction and a fraction. So we could figure out common denominators up here and down there, group those, put them together as a division, then flip it to multiplication. But this method, we can get rid of the fractions in one swoop. And we remember we want to find what is my greatest common denominator of both the numerator and denominator. Now we have a 3 there, we have an x, and we have a 2x. And the answer is 6x. We're going to multiply both of these by 6x. So here we're going to go 5 times that is 30x. Now the 3's cancel off here with that. It gives me a 2. So I get here plus 2x squared. So once again, it's this times this. The 3 cancels out now. I didn't show the canceling before because we had to use it again. But as we multiply this term by this term, the 3's cancel out and we get 2x times x is 2x squared. Okay. Now we're going to cancel this x with this x and we get 24. X goes into there, x times 6 times 4 is 24. Now we're going to cancel this 2x with that and we're going to get a 3. And this is going to be a negative 1 times 3, a negative 3. Now we could factor out something here. Could factor out a 2x, but that really is not going to make any difference because down here this is going to become a 21 in our denominator. And we could put this in descending order. I don't know what they're going to do, but we'll see here shortly. Okay. Yeah, they're using the long method here, where they're going to get common denominators, and then now they're going to flip it as they change it from a division to a multiplication. And notice they got the same thing we did, and they kept it in the ascending order. Okay, ours was a lot shorter. All right, let's do this one. So we'll use the method we just went over. Put a parenthesis there. And what's our common denominator? Well, x. So 1 times x is x. Here the x's cancel out, and you're left with plus 1. Here it's going to be 1 times x is x. The x's cancel out, and we get that. So again, I think that was pretty easy. And they're using this method here as well. Okay? All right, let's do this one. Okay, as we look at this one, I set it up a little bit. I just copied it. What is my lowest common denominator? And it's going to be x to the third. So that's what I put there. Now this, the x to the thirds cancel out, and I'm just left with a 6. Here the x to the second cancels out, and I'm left with a negative 2x. Now here, the x cancels out, and I get x squared, so this is 3x squared. X squared cancels out, and I'm left with a 1x there, so 4x. And there's my answer. So I didn't have to get common denominators here and do this, convert it from division then into multiplication. This is a much shorter method where in one swoop we get rid of all our fractions. Now we could factor out a 2 here, but you can't do it down there, and this, I believe, is the answer. Yep, you're using this method, and they factored out a 2, they factored out an x, but again, this is perfectly fine because you can't cancel anything out. Okay. We're going to take a look now at negative exponents, or I guess not, but if we ever do, it would be a good way to work this.